Coming up in this package, police adopt new strategies to fight emerging crimes across the country.
An Accra High Court drops all charges against MP for Boko Central, Mahama Yariga, for lack of evidence.
Lack of funding and acquisition of psychotropic drugs, a threat to mental health care in Ghana.
And also in this package, students of Yinehing Catholic School asked to go home after fire swept through dormitories.
And the Ethiopian army has launched coordinated attacks on all fronts against forces from the northern Tigray region.
News headlines sponsored by Manchi Biscuits. Munch into happiness. Good evening and thanks for joining us for news. My name is Clara Milano.
And mine is Valerie Danso. Robert from Pomanso is in studio to interpret the news into sign language. We're live on Facebook as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation and also live on DSTV channel 278.
In our first story, the government has received funding to complete the 12-story law house in Accra.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, who announced this at the inauguration of the reconstituted Legal Service Board at the Jubilee House, said completing the Law House project will allow the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice to recruit more lawyers to raise service delivery in the country.
Board legal service members are the Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Mr. Godfred Yeboah-Dam and his two deputies, Mr. Alfred Tuyayeboah, Ms. Diana Asunabadapa, Solicitor General, Mrs. Helen Akwene Awoziwu, Justice Victor Maulon Duche, Justice of the Supreme Court, Chairperson of the Public Service Commission, Dr. Janet Amperufofi, Mr. Kweku Jau, representatives of the Ghana Bar Association, Mr. Daniel Kweku Chinebua Silifi, and Mrs. Sylvia Asimin Ache, nominees of the President. Key among the functions of the Legal Service Board is recruitment of the right caliber of personnel and instilling discipline to ensure that the machinery of government is run professionally and with utmost diligence of conduct at the Attorney General's Department and Ministry of Justice. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia said a competent workforce will have a multiplier effect on Ghana's socio-economic development.
A workforce that is bereft of discipline has a seismic negative impact on the forward march in our quest to be a model democratic developmental state. It is therefore expected that in the discharge of your mandate, you will not relent in instilling discipline when need be.
The Attorney General is upbeat that the Legal Board will work hard to justify the confidence reposed in it. Edward Nyakun, reporting for GBC News.
A team of mining experts to be the ears and eyes of the government on crucial matters in Ghana's mining space has knuckled down to its duty. Their composition has become necessary as the government is rethinking its strategy for the country's mining industry, especially to turn the small-scale mining sector into a sturdy and competitive one. The leading producer of gold in Africa and sixth in the world, producing about 5 million ounces in 2020. The government of Ghana is bent on making this industry thrive. From a $50 million exports earnings in 1992 to $770 million in 2019, the plan is to maintain or enhance exports through rapid reforms and sustainable mining. Composed of members of the Ghana Chamber of Mines, the Minerals Commission, technical experts in mining, and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, the Joint Committee is to guide the adoption and implementation of policies and programs in the mining sector, which is to include seeking external advice when necessary.
My view is that the various issues involved in the mining industry, whether it's a matter to do with security of concessions or it's a matter to do with the fiscal regime in respect of mining in our country, or the issues involving small-scale mining and its impact on large-scale mining operations. Within this framework of this joint committee, I believe we can have the opportunity to discuss all of these matters and do so behind closed doors so that emerging issues can be resolved, emerging challenges can be resolved for us to move forward.
Making reference to some challenges that the industry has suffered over time, the Chamber of Mines finds this timely.
But indeed, all the other big issues that confront us, I know there are sensitive issues that government wants to push. As we've had discussions, we've always said that the vision of government is fundamentally not different from what we as a chamber want to achieve. So we think there is a lot of room for good collaboration, constructive collaboration. It is how we get there to ensure that in the process, when we introduce changes, they don't inadvertently undermine Ghana as an investment destination.
A Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mines, Mr. George Mrekuduka, chairs the Joint Committee. Also, the Ghana Chamber of Mines presented a check, a pledge of fulfillment in support of the Green Ghana project and National Consultative Dialogue in small-scale mining. Sector Minister Mr. Samuel Jinapo encouraged them to do more to promote the country's ecosystem. For GBC News, Clara Mnanu reporting.
In order to take the fight to criminals across the country, the Ghana Police Service has adopted a targeting strategic approach on the sidelines of a 3-day capacity building training by the service in collaboration with Hans Seidel Foundation. The Director of Public Affairs of the Police Service, Superintendent of Police Alexander Obing, said this strategy will help control crime, build public trust, confidence, respect and cement legitimacy.
In times past, the Ghana Police Service has been in the news for the wrong reasons, mainly linked to high rate of crime, police brutalities, harassment, extortion, among others. Although the trend seems to be changing, the impact is yet to be felt because the negative image has badly affected the relationship between the police and the public. Ultimately, it has brought the integrity of the police service in question. To move from rhetoric to reality in saving the image of the police service to make it more relevant, the new Inspector General of Police, Dr. Ekufu Dampari, has outlined 4 thematic areas which are restoring public trust, commanding police respect, regaining public confidence, and cementing police legitimacy in the discharge of their duties. To kickstart the process, 40 police personnel from selected regions have gathered in Accra to be trained in these areas. The Director General, Research, Planning, Monitoring and Transformation, Commissioner of Police, Paul Awini, was emphatic that the service is positioning itself to become a first-class police service.
We know that each and every one of you hold the Ghana Police Service very dear to your heart. After all, this is the only police service that we have. After all, this is the police service that each and every one of you swore the oath to serve, and you are doing so dedicatedly throughout. Now what is left is for you to participate very actively in the program so that at the end of it we will derive all the benefits from the program that we have just organized.
The Director of Public Affairs, Superintendent Alexander Obing, said with the new strategy, the crime wave in the country will be reduced drastically.
Police is also embarking on enhanced visibility. And very soon we are beginning to see more motorcycle patrols in our urban landscapes in terms of policy. And the rural side, you're going to see more armed police officers, anti-armed robbery police officers, ensuring that those who adopt any means of vehicle to commit crime, to put fear, to deprive Ghanaians of their hard-earned property during market days, among others, will face the full force of Ghana through the police officers trained, deployed, and giving confidence to work on our behalf, even when we are asleep or when it is raining.
The police administration is optimistic that with the new leadership, renewed commitment from the personnel, support from other men in uniform, security-conscious citizens, coupled with the training, the service will deliver quality policing to Ghanaians.
Monday, the National Road Safety Authority, in a joint operation with the Northern Regional Police Command and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority (DVLA), have impounded hundreds of motorbikes in Tamale. The joint operation forms part of efforts to enforce road traffic regulations, instill discipline and reduce carnage on the road. Mutala Isa has more in this report.
The motorbike is the main means of transport within the Tamale metropolis and the Sanarigu municipality. However, there are certain safety rules that are not followed by riders, including the not registering their motorbikes and also riding without helmet. Just this morning, on my way to this press briefing, I tried checking on the streets of Tamale how people are complying with the use of the road crash helmet. Unfortunately, for every 20 people you count on the roads of Tamale, you only find about 3 who are wearing the crash helmet. There's been a number of accidents across the metropolis. I have lost some very close friends, 3 friends in the last 2 years. I have lost them to road crashes, and all 3 had head fractures from the medical reports. This morning, in the joint operation, you can see hundreds of motorbikes have just been impounded. We are fortunate here. We have the Northern Regional Director of the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority, Mr. Mutawakil. Thank you very much for joining us on Ghana television. What can you tell us? How sustainable is this program that you have just started?
Thank you very much. I think the police have the mandate to enforce the law. And as such, as they enforce the law, it should be sustained. And sustaining this means that you do not just say that we want to stop unregistered bikes on the road. How do you stop them? You have to register them. Okay. And if the police impound motorbikes as you see this morning, DVLA will have to come and make sure that we complement the effort that police are doing so that the exercise will be very successful. And I hope the police will continue to do this exercise and DVLA will work 24/7.
You have just impounded nearly 400 motorbikes from my count. What are you going to do? How are you going to release these bikes?
According to the police, most of these people have committed 1 or 2 offenses. And as the regional police commander rightly said, we are to ensure lives and property are safe hands, and of course, people in Tamale and the other metropolis should be free to use motorbikes, to use other means of transportation in Tamale without being subject to what we call road accidents.
Parts of the Nsawam-Kumasi Road has been closed to traffic due to a road crash involving a 6-axle full tanker. The Road Safety Management Services team has arrived at the scene and currently recovering the truck off the road to allow a free and safe flow of traffic. Meanwhile, police officers are directing and controlling traffic with the Ghana National Fire Service team on standby to assist in washing and clearing the debris after the recovery.
The Special Prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ajabin, has formally communicated to the Economic and Financial Court 2 Division of the Accra High Court that all legal proceedings in respect of all cases against the Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mr. Mahama Yarga, in the case in which he was being tried for allegedly using public office for his private benefits, have been dropped. These charges include breaching procurement processes and tax evasion.
On Monday, October 11, the Special Prosecutor, Mr. Kisi Ajabin, informed the Economic and Financial Court 2, presided over by Justice Ifya Sewa Asaribuchi, that after further re-examination of the case docket, the Republic will not be able to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt based on the standards of proof required in a criminal case. The Special Prosecutor also said it would be a complete waste of time to reopen the case further because it is likely to suffer the same fate as the first case titled The Republic vs. Hawa Inchima and 6 others, which was dismissed on May 7, 2021 upon application of submission of no case to answer. The case against Ayariga and others was initiated by the former special prosecutor, Mr. Martin Amidu, who resigned from his position in 2020. Mr. Amidu put the Boko Central MP on trial over two issues, that is, breaching procurement processes in the purchase of some ambulances for his constituency and tax evasion in the importation of some luxurious vehicles. Mr. Mahama Ayariga, who was standing trial with 6 others, was acquitted and discharged on Friday, May 7th in the first case for tax evasion after the court upheld the submission of no case filed by the defense lawyers. Mr. Ayariga was, however, being tried in a second case on 6 counts, including the use of public office for his private benefit. He had been accused of allegedly abusing his office after clearing 3 Toyota V8 vehicles without paying tax, and also for illegal transfer of foreign exchange from Ghana to Dubai without having the required license to undertake such a transaction. One Kendrick Mafu, a car rental dealer, was joined to the suit for purchasing what was called fraudulent vehicles from Mr. Ayariga. Mr. Mafu, 50, is also accused of deliberately evading tax in the purchase of the vehicles from the lawmaker. The current special prosecutor's statement to the Economic and Financial Court 2 means there are no charges against the Boko Central MP. His lawyer, Mr. Godwin Edujita Maklo, expressed gratitude to the special prosecutor and maintained that they had been vindicated.
The Economic and Financial Court Division of the Accra High Court, hearing the case in which Assistant Commissioner of Police Benjamin Agojo, Dr. Frederick Yao Macpalm, and 8 others are standing trial for allegedly plotting to overthrow the government, has scheduled Monday, October 18, to continue hearing the case. Meanwhile, the president of the 3-member panel of judges, Justice Ifyasewa Sariboche, has cautioned defense lawyers against flouting the rules of engagement in the matter and warned that disciplinary action will be triggered against any lawyer who goes contrary to agreed terms of the trial.
The October 11, during time management planning on how to proceed with the trial, the panel of 3 judges presided over by Justice Ifyasewa Sariboche told parties to the suit that the rules of engagement remain the same and urged lawyers, especially defense counsel, to abide by the rules to avoid disciplinary sanctions against them. The trial, which was to begin Monday, October 11 and continued on Tuesday and Wednesday subsequently, was adjourned to Monday, October 18 after prosecution led by Director of Public Prosecution, Mrs. Yvonne Atakra Obobisa, prayed the court for an adjournment as the 3rd prosecution witness is bereaved. Meanwhile, prosecution is expected to lead a 10-hour video and audio evidence in chief in the coming days to prove their case against the accused persons. Dr. Frederick Yao Macpalm, the man accused of masterminding the alleged plot, together with Dunyaka Fui, Bright Alan Deborah Ofosu, WO2 Esther San, Yohan Zikpi, Corporal Seidu Abubakar, Lance Corporal Ali Solomon, and Corporal Sylvester Akampion have all denied charges of high treason and conspiracy to commit high treason. Colonel Kojo Gamali and ACP Dr. Benjamin Agozo, who have also been charged with abetment, have also pleaded not guilty.
More than 100 students of the Yinehin Catholic Senior High School in the Chimampunya district of the Ashanti region have been asked to go home following a fire incident at the school's dormitory on Friday. The headmistress of the school, Mrs. Emma Watimensa, has also been called to the Regional Education Directorate to brief the director on the incident. The students completely lost their trunks, books, clothing, shoes, mattresses and beds and other personal items. There were no injuries as the students were attending mass when the incident happened. A combined team of personnel from the Bieni and Yinehin fire stations responded to the emergency but could not salvage anything due to the long distance they had to travel. Though the cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, it is alleged that some Form 3 students of the school set the dormitory ablaze after completing the WASI for not being allowed by the school authority to cheat in the examination.
Work on the reconstruction of the Sakumono Beach Road is progressing steadily. The 10.6-kilometer stretch known as the Beach Road Expansion Project Phase 2 is expected to be completed by December 2022. Our correspondent Humo Abdullahi visited the site and comes through with this report.
As part of this project, this road is supposed to provide a dual carriage road as well as an interchange on the Nungwa barrier to ease the traffic, especially on this part of the road. I am standing here with resident engineer for this particular project, Mr. Kweku Ataku Diafo.
They are going through a process to get land valuation authority. Okay. Land valuation board give us the estimate for demolishing and paying compensation for this property. Okay. In some sections, they are giving us the valuation that are paid. Okay. That's why you see us working in this section. Okay. Some sections they are not finished. Okay. Hopefully, by the end of this week, we see another section completed for us. Okay. Okay. Go ahead. Okay. So as I said, okay. They are going to pay. Okay. As said about to pay the mortgage, and that will continue.
This is the road leading from Osu going towards Nungwa barrier. If all things being equal, based on the saying of the resident engineer, we should be looking at a dual carriageway on this part of the road. And we should also be expecting an interchange at the Nungwa barrier. So from Teshin, Nungwa First Junction, this is Humo Abdullahi. Over to
This business sports energy. After this break, do stay.
By Joanna Fashions, Nyaniba Kaswa
and Alan David Collections, Havana in Accra.
Yenjai kalamse.
Good to have you join us for the business segment of news. Proudly brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Good evening and welcome. I am Dorothy Achmai. Drivers of the real estate business from across Africa and the U.S. have gathered in Accra to upscale investment in Ghana and bridge the over 2 million housing deficit facing the country. The Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Abdullahi Abanga, has argued that with proper documentation, digitization and the needed investments, the real estate market in Ghana could become the lead sector in the economic recovery process. The Ghana Real Estate Professional Association, GREPA, is the initiator of the Africa Real Estate Conferences and Expo to be held every 2 years in a designated country in Africa, but first in Ghana. The conference, which starts from October 11 to 16, 2021, is expected to host over 1,000 local and international speakers, investors, industry practitioners to empower, motivate and equip industry professionals with tools to succeed. Among topics to be discussed include urban regeneration, benefits of real estate and human rights, the role of lawyers in real estate transactions, master plan developments, industrial parks and affordable housing, among others. Africa's real estate sector is driving the continent's economic recovery forward, with more than $800 million deals taking place this year. This clearly shows that there are attractive opportunities in the African real estate market. The founder of GREPA, Madame Vicky Sampa, urged the government to work with the real estates to make housing affordable.
We have plans to make education our first priority, and we're urging the government to use this association to roll out the real estate training and licensing.
The Deputy Minister for Works and Housing, Mr. Abdullahi Abanga, said Parliament has passed the Real Estate Agency Act 2020, which seeks to plug the leakages in money laundering transactions in the sector.
The goal is for the sector to prohibit unlicensed persons other than those authorized or exempted under the Act from engaging in real estate transactions.
On benefits of formal real estate, Mr. Maurice Hampton said real estate is lucrative. Hence, Africa must transform its market by making it more rational. The 2021 Africa Real Estate Conference and Expo is under the theme, Opportunity to Innovate and Optimize. Come 2022, cybersecurity service providers in Ghana will have to be licensed before they can operate. The move will give assurance of safety to customers and raise the quality of service in the country as stipulated in the Cybersecurity Act. Cybersecurity market players are thus meeting in Accra to discuss the licensing framework, which will be implemented next year.
Want the industry to be infiltrated by pretenders and charlatans. We've seen that because not many of us are very aware of technology and its implications. Some people may pose as professionals who do not have the requisite qualifications and may even use that gap to defraud others. So it is important that we provide proper certification, licensing, and accreditation to the recognized professionals in the sector for your own good. And this means that to be recognized legally as a service provider, an institution or individual must apply for a practicing license under Section 49 of the Act and be granted that license if the authority is satisfied that they meet the necessary requirements and renew their licenses after the validity period. This will ensure that there is sanity within the industry in terms of the capabilities and acceptable ways of conducting such sensitive services in the country.
The German government is seeking to replicate its SME sustainability strategy in Ghana's small and medium-scale enterprise space after a successful skill transfer in the agribusiness, Sherbata, cosmetics and energy sectors. Germany, through its Invest for Jobs initiative, is improving the skills of some 20 wood processing and furniture companies. The enterprises will receive further coaching from their German counterparts next year. The agenda is to create 10,000 decent jobs employing 18,000 people.
Is export-oriented. The sector is the fourth most important foreign exchange earner, accounting for 11% of GDP after minerals, cocoa, and tourism. The wood processing and furniture industry, however, remains a growing one, with imports of processed wood and furniture outstripping exports. Germany, known for the production of quality and durable furniture and a leader in the wood processing business, is seeking to mentor and coach players in this area of the economy to remain competitive, sustainable, provide decent jobs, and reduce importation in the wood space. Under its Invest for Jobs initiative, 20 SMEs will receive both classroom and practical training on the job. At the end of the entire program in 2022, the capacities of a total of 60 growth-oriented SMEs will be strengthened and their competitiveness in international markets increased. Cognos International, a German not-for-profit training organization, is executing the program with support from the GIZ.
And when we are looking at the furniture industry, we are looking for localizing the supply chain to increase the production in Ghana, to be less dependent from imports, for example, from China.
At the opening of the two-week program, team lead of the Special Initiative on Training and Job Creation, Mr. John Duty, said the project links Ghanaian and German businesses.
These companies that we've selected are not only growth-oriented companies to produce for only Ghana, but those who aim at exporting their products.
The trainee SMEs will be in Germany next year to receive further coaching and hands-on experience from German wood processing and furniture-making firms.
On the interbank market, the US dollar is trading at 5 cedis 87 pesos to the local currency, the pound sterling at 8 cedis and the euro at 6 cedis 79 pesos. Coming up, other figures and the prices of some commodities. And that's it for the business segment. Brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. Dominic Noji is standing by with the energy segment. Please stay.